Hey guys, and welcome to another one of my #1 Sentai Gozyuger episodes review and commentaries. Now, this time I'm doing it a little bit differently just because I want to try and figure out a way of getting these videos out a little bit quicker than how I've done it previously. So, hopefully it's just as good, and if you do enjoy it, please remember to like and subscribe. Being a small channel, it does help. But for now, it's episode 3, The Boss of Japan. I'm the Prime Minister. So the episode opens with Goju Wolf working in a fruit and veg shop. And he seems to be wearing a sprout on his head. Although it's not that ridiculous considering his boss is wearing an apple on his head. But anyway, he comes out and starts sniffing everything and everyone, driving away the customers. Because for some reason he's saying something really smells. Obviously, driving away the customer's not a good thing. He ends up getting fired. Which I did say in a previous video, possibly the one that got blocked by TOEI, that this is going to be a running thing. He's going to have a different job every single episode. But either way, he comes out, bumps into Goju Blue, who tells him that the rings actually give everyone a special power. You know, Tyranno has super strength, Wolf has smell, and Blue has hearing. But you can still smell the smell, and it smells like peaches, which is an immediate bell for anyone who's been watching Sentai for the last few years. And they go off and they find a guy, turns out to be Atami Takanatsu, who's the youngest Prime Minister ever with a sky-high approval rating. And he's given a talk to everyone on a very familiar looking pedestal, which looks a lot like a certain someone's parade float. And it's even being held up by a couple of people, although it's not been held up by the original dancers. After shouting happy sunshine and getting some audience response, he gets out a ring and he turns into who I will now be calling Not Momotaro. Because yes, it's time for the Don Brothers. Which leads me to another theory. Are we just going to be working our way backwards through Sentai? Or is it going to start being more random? Because we've had Boom Boomja, King Oja, and Don Brothers in the last 2 episodes. So coming back into the episode after the opening credits, we go back to Wolf's ex-boss, well now ex-boss, who's saying he wishes his shop was as popular as the Prime Minister after Wolf was driven away with the customers. And of course, wishing for things these days, well, it kind of gets you focused on by the No One World. And he gets turned into No One World's popularity #1, who goes straight to the Prime Minister's talk, and they start to fight, with the Prime Minister asking everyone to cheer for him because it'll make him stronger. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But he pulls out 3 origami creatures, a bear, a dog, and a bird. Oh, I think it's a bear. Could be monkey. I think it was meant to be a gorilla or something, which goes with Don Brothers actually, but it looked like a bear. And they actually end up fighting like the grunts while he fights off popularity #1, who runs away. And Not Momotaro gets Mount Fuji erupting behind him in the Don Brothers style animation, and everyone cheers for him. Now, later on, they're at the 3 Gojujers are at the cafe, and there's a woman there combing her hair. Now, I will point out there is no ring on her fingers. She is stunned by the fact that a parfait is really expensive, which kind of upsets Yellow, asking what the price should be. But this woman also points out that these three all have rings and they're working together. Although, as Yellow and Blue explain, they're working together to bring the rings together, and once they've got all the rings, then it's each for themselves. But until then, they're working together. Questioning who the lady is, she refuses to answer before getting an alert on her phone, sort of overacting a little bit, which I think is on purpose, sort of very, oh my god, sort of thing, and rushes off saying she's got something to do. So popularity number one, like, he's coming along the street being carried by some of the minions, and he wants to get popularity to feed the energy to the Queen, the big head we saw last time. So he brainwashes a bunch of people to cheer for him and be like, hooray, yay. So Wolf's like, oh, popularity contest, yes. Turns around to two guys like, right, cheer for me. And they're just like, and leg it. Blue just sort of scoffs, says neither of them have a clue. Clicks his finger, and all of a sudden he's on a stage with a microphone. But also we do see Bouquet walking around in the human world, looking at everything as it changes to Blue on stage, and he starts singing and doing a dance number with a whole bunch of idol fans all waving fans and cheering for him constantly. So proper idol love like they do in Japan. And his popularity is so strong, he even pulls some of the women away from popularity number one's group. And even one of his minions. Switching back to Bouquet, she's there, like sort of comparing human technology and everything else, and she ends up walking past Blue's sort of impromptu concert, for lack of a better word, and she literally falls in love with him, starts cheering and clapping and all the rest of it. Just, think One Direction when they were popular and all those teenage girls were going nuts over them. She's doing it nuts over him. As both sides go off to try and get more popularity. Obviously, popularity number one's going to brainwash people, and Blue's obviously going to sing to everyone. As Wolf sort of complains that he's not gonna, he doesn't know how to do it, a spinning gear comes along, which doesn't look very Don Brothers, but the Prime Minister turns up and sprays himself with some Don Brothers, Don Momotaro perfume. Was that a real thing in Japan? But anyway, so he starts trying to show him how to be popular, engaging with people, helping people. But it's not anything that Wolf can do himself. Until he happens, tries to get away from him again, and he hears a guy crying in anguish in a laundrette who's mixed his washing between clean and dirty, doesn't know which is which. So, using his enhanced sense of smell, he's literally going clean, dirty, and sorts it all out for him. Which Prime Minister goes, hey, you've done it. Brilliant. This is the key to you being popular. So, after all this, they go for the battle. You get the graphics, and they're going to start counting all the ballots. And the ballots are sort of psychically drawn from people, I guess. And the name of the person they like the most will be on these bits of paper. So the grunts are sorting them all out, checking everything. And one box out of the four that are there is being filled up. And it turns out it's the Prime Minister, Atami Tokunatsu, much to everyone's surprise. So it actually turns out that the Prime Minister helping Wolf actually try and be popular was actually just another way of raising his own popularity even more. And thanks to that, he's actually won this competition. And Wolf obviously gets angry about it and says, "You said I could have been number one." And he goes, "Well, yeah, you could, if I wasn't here." Which obviously annoys Wolf enough that he transforms, saying he wants to smack him in the mouth. So Prime Minister transforms well, and we get Goju Wolf against Not Momotaro. Cue the cheerleaders and the announcer yet again. Not my favourite part. It just seems to pull away from the action. I mean, it's okay, but just not my favourite part, in all honesty. So as the battle starts and the two get into it, popularity number one, charging his words, and it's not all about them. Off screen, you hear Goju Leon transform as well, and he starts shooting them, with Not Momotaro actually hiding behind popularity number one. As the brigands start charging in, Goju Torano comes in and summons his hammer out of his chest and starts fighting them. And we get a really nice fight sequence with Not Momotaro and Goju Wolf fighting popularity number one. We've got Torano fighting the brigands. And then Bouquet comes down in a giant robot, and Leon says he's the one going to do it. So he turns into his Kiba Ranger-like mecha outfit, and we get the first appearance of Take a Sword Blue. So Bouquet's fighting in a robot, and she's got posters of Goju Blue's human form in her monster, and I gotta say, I really like this robot. But they're fighting. She gets blasted, and one of her precious pictures of Riku gets torn, and she starts crying over it and all the rest of it, before pulling herself up and going absolutely mental on him. Because he's caused one of these pictures to be ripped. And he actually does look like he's struggling against her, because she is just going all out on him. So, back on the ground fight, Not Momotaro takes another ring out and gets a Jetman ring. And actually gives himself flying powers. While still in the Don Momotaro outfit, but he gets the Jetman wings. Although he's still caught by Wolf. So Leon uses his finisher to finish off Bouquet's robot, which is a sort of machine gun style move from the lion arm, as it sort of spins round a bit like Hurricaneja. Torano powers up his Tiger Glove and finishes off the brigands. Wolf actually uses an O-Ranger form and does an O-Ranger finish, trapping Not Momotaro in a pyramid. And as he walks over to him, popularity number one walks over as well. And they both sort of stare at him like, you're joining in on the celebration? But he basically powers up his Tiger Glove, slices in and sees it's his boss. So he pulls his boss out and proceeds to destroy popularity number one. And his ex-boss says, "A hero in red," before passing out. So the two Reds confront each other again, as winner Don Momotaro comes up in graphics above Not Momotaro, which they both react to, so the graphics are real. And as Momotaro is talking about working up more of a sweat, green blasts start raining down, and it turns out the green Gozyuger is flapping away above them and shooting down. And as he flies off, the woman that we saw earlier in the cafe appears, saying that he had a meeting to go to. And her name's Ichikawa Sumiyo, who's a private eye that the Prime Minister employs. And as she's introducing herself to them, they see she actually has a ring on her right hand. But, without another word, they both get in the car and drive off, leaving the three Gozyugers stood around as they power down. Blue does manage to take one of the ballot slips off of his ex-boss, and it turns out that the popularity vote that he would have cast is Goju Wolf. He gained the popularity from saving the guy, so he at least has one vote. After that, he turns around, does his sort of looking through like the circle of his finger and thumb and says, yeah, Prime Minister's going to be my prey now. And as we see them drive off, Goju Green lands. And as he turns around to look at them, they're all getting themselves ready for a fight. He powers down, and it's some old guy who introduced himself as Takehara Joji. And as they all just sort of stare at him, the episode ends. So, I enjoyed this episode. It made me laugh a couple of times, which I don't think I've actually done yet this season. I like the fact that Green is like an old guy who looks like he's ready to collapse. He just looks like he's had enough after just flying around a bit and shooting at them. I think I was right in an earlier review where I said that the whole thing of Wolf, Goju Wolf, being in a different job or looking for a different job every episode is a thing that is basically going to repeat again and again and again and again throughout the season. Maybe we'll get less of that towards the end of the season, or like in the middle. Like we won't see so much as like something big happens in the middle and then it'll sort of come back towards the end, or even drop off again. Like we'll sort of have it for a few episodes, it'll go away for a while, come back for a little bit, just to remind everyone that, hey, he's still looking for work because he's got to pay, like his rent and that. Go away again, and then it'll probably pop up, I don't know, at the end of the final episode or something. It's like, you still owe me rent. It's like, I'm looking for a job, and runs out at the end of the final episode. Be interesting to see, like, next year, if I'm right on that. So, we've finally been introduced to all 5 Gozyugers. So, obviously, we've got Red, Blue, and Yellow, who have now said they're working together until near the end. So, they're working to collect the rings, and then once they've got most of them, then they'll go for each other. Yellow, I mean, obviously, we don't know what her special power is. Obviously, we know we've got smell, hearing, and strength. Yellow's only been introduced. Sorry, not yellow. Black has been introduced, but we haven't seen her transform yet. And green, we've seen as Goju Green, or Goju Hawk, or I'm not sure what he's actually going to be called. But obviously, that's not the main actor that we've seen. We've seen a younger person, which, if you watch the coming, like, next episode segment, it does seem to hint that he's going to be made younger. But also you see him sort of walking, like going from young to old. So I don't know if it's going to be like a temporary thing, or he's going to keep shifting back and forwards. That'll be interesting to see as we go through. I do like um, the whole, like, the Prime Minister as Don Momotaro is good. I loved Don Brothers almost as much as I love King Asia. Those are like my top two, and then probably Gokaiger third. Um, his laugh wasn't quite the same, and seeing him in that form, my brain's going, Don Momotaro. My ears are going, that's not him. The laugh is wrong. Which he's a different person, so of course it would be, but it's just with the look and then you're hearing, it's like, oh, it's so close. But no, it's another good episode. I'd say with most Sentai, you're sort of looking around 6 to 10 episodes to really get into the meat of what the story's going to be and how it's going to go on the regular. Obviously, some things are a lot quicker than they used to be. If you look at Ranger, Die Ranger, Gozyuger, not Gozyuger, Kaku Ranger, basically a lot of the 90s ones, really, they don't even get their mecha like straight away. You might not see a giant robot fight for 2 or 3 episodes. And in the case of Ranger, they didn't get Daijujin until episode 6. What was it? First 2 episodes were the introduction, and you got the Tyrannosaurus. Third and fourth were them getting their weapons. And then fifth and sixth were getting Daijujin and the other Guardian Beasts. So, well, we already had the other Guardian Beasts, but getting them to combine all the rest of it, they needed the crystals. So, yeah, you've always got to like just get through these first few episodes, and sometimes they're not that great. It's a slow build, which I like. You try and compare sort of like Power Rangers and Sentai, and Power Rangers are like bang, it's all there, and Sentai is usually just sort of like, wait for it, it'll be worth it, just wait. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the team to come together. I'm waiting to see if it's like the opening credits where you see multiple Tiger Swords, or if it is just going to be the one the whole way through. In which case, surely at the end, when it comes down to them going, well, there can only be one, and go all Highlander on each other, all it's going to take is one of them just calling in the Tiger Sword and squashing like them. The only one that would actually stand a chance would be Goju Tyranno, because he's strong enough to actually stop it. But the others would basically get squashed, although we don't know black and green special powers yet, so maybe they'd have something that would defend them from the Tiger Swords. Either way, I'm still enjoying the series. 3 episodes in, granted. And I am still looking forward to the next one. And I'm still looking for anywhere that is not sold out of the Tiger Sword that's not selling it at stupid prices. Because I'm not paying stupid money for it, but I still want one. I have a gap right there that needs filling. That could be the Tiger Sword. Although with my luck, it's more likely to be Kira Major. Anyway, those are my thoughts. We'll see what happens next week. See you next time. And if you did enjoy this, please remember to like and subscribe. It means so much to a small channel and can really help you grow. Next time, guys.